Hello, my name is Chris. This is Mike Zoda. Today we're here to talk about the box jump and how it can transfer into other movements, specifically the Olympic lifts. Alright, so the first thing we're going to address here is the stance and starting position. So with the box jump starting position, just like we would set up for the Olympic lifts, you want to start off with your feet underneath of your hips. You want to also make sure that you have your full foot flat on the ground. So common mistake we see with the box jump or the Olympic lifts, lifters sometimes or athletes sometimes are too far back on their heels, causing their toes to lift off of the floor. Also, sometimes lifters or athletes are too far forward and they're on their toes. So we want to be in a nice athletic position. You want the full foot gripping onto the floor, all right? Having your weight right in the middle of your foot. So the next thing we're going to address is the starting position, or setting up into that starting position, or the dynamic start. With the box jump, what we're looking for is once you have your stance and your balance set, you're then going to take your arms and you're going to load into that starting position by bringing your arms up overhead. What we compare this to in the Olympic lifts is when a lifter starts off with the barbell in their hand or on the floor, and their hands on the bar. They're then going to pull themselves into that starting position by pulling themselves down, locking their hips, setting their posterior chain, and locking their back nice and tight. So that's the next step that we're covering with the box jump and how that transfers into the Olympics.
Next, we're going to talk about the loading phase of the box jump. Okay, so Chris is going to go into his correct starting position, and in order to load the box jump, he wants to stick his hips back, okay, while bringing his arms back. This brings his shoulders out front, okay, and his knees are pretty soft. So the knees aren't too bent, but they're not completely locked. This is very similar to the Olympic lifts in the sense of position 2, as you might know, or when the bar is passing the knees. If Chris had this PVC and he's setting up to do an Olympic lift, he would be in a very similar position. The knees would be soft, his chest would be over the bar, and then he's loading his body in the position to come up into the final extension of the Olympic lift. Next, we're going to talk about the jump. So Chris is going to go, and he's going to go into that loading phase again, all right? And then in slow motion, he's going to extend up as if he's going to jump on the bar. Notice Chris hits his triple extension here. His knees are fully extended, his hips are fully extended, and so are his ankles. They're all fully extended. He's punching through his quads to extend the knees, and he's squeezing his glutes to extend the hips, and the calves are extending the ankles. Similar in the Olympic lifts, if Chris had a barbell, he would be hitting that same exact triple extension position in order to vertically pull that bar straight up. Chris should be using his muscles to drive his body straight up to jump on the box. So now let's see a box jump in full speed. Nice job. Next thing we're going to be talking about is the tuck in the box jump, okay? So when Chris is going to jump on a box, this box is 24 inches, he only needs to tuck his knees up so far, all right? So Chris, let me see a box jump at this height. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the box to 30 inches. Chris is going to do another box jump, and what you'll notice is that in order to make the box jump up this height, he's going to have to tuck his knees higher up. The knees have to tuck closer to the chest. Notice how the knees come further up and he gets in more of a tuck position. This should be a controlled motion, and you should only be tucking your knees up as much as you need to make whichever height the box is. For example, if the box is higher, then you need to tuck your knees higher. We're looking for a controlled landing, and we're looking for coordination based on box height. This is very similar and analogous to the Olympic lifts in the sense that if you're doing a power variant, you only need to catch your lifts above parallel. But if you were doing a squat variant, you would need to be able to squat all the way down and time that bottom position.
So the last thing we're going to cover today is the landing position when you land on that box or when you land in the bottom of your clean or your snatch. So when landing, you want to make sure you're landing soft, nice full foot on the box. Feet underneath of your hips, pushing your knees out to create stability. How this relates to the Olympic lifts is, of course, we're going to land feet underneath of our hips again, feet flat. And then I would say the most important thing is that knee out component, which is going to help create stability through your midline. So what we'll see with Olympic lifters is when they catch sometimes in the bottom and they don't have that full stability, either by letting their knees cave in or they're just not focusing on tension to the midline, you'll start to see that bar maybe wobble and travel either forward or behind. So we want to think about pushing those knees out, staying tight through our midline to create stability and control.
And that concludes our tutorial of the box jump and how it transfers over into the Olympic lifts.
Snatch. You want to make sure when you are landing on that box or in your finishing position, whoa,